the Oakland Athletics. Celebration time at the Coliseum.
Hello and welcome to the Oakland A's UK live stream today. I'm here with Dom. Hello Dom, how are you?
I'm very well, Matt.
Good, good.
How are
Hopefully
you?
everyone can hear us. Yes, I think I'm okay. Well, there we were yesterday, Dom, recording our latest podcast, and we tempted fate on a whole bunch of things, didn't we? Hello from France. French A's are on, good stuff.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Salut.
Yes. So yeah, we tempted fate. You tempted fate with Le Padres saying we'd win the series 2-0.
Well, you also tempted fate.
I tempted fate by saying
never blows up.
Exactly, Capellian would be fine. And we both said, all of us said, we're not probably going to do too much in terms of bringing in a major trade. And what do you know? We've gone and done a major trade, haven't we?
I know. What to say about it? I mean, if you focus on what we've given up, that's a big trade. Jesus is a top-class pitcher. I think we all know that he's got the goods.
Yep.
But hey, and if we ignore the fact that it's for a rental, the guy we brought in, we know has got the goods.
Yeah, exactly.
It just feels like a bit of a gut wrench because we're trading a guy who's in contract for 4 more years.
Yep.
For a guy
he'll
who
be
we've got essentially for 6 more weeks.
Yeah. So. Yeah, a real shocker. I mean, really out of nowhere, let's be honest. Marte was the guy who was arguably the top outfielder on the presumed trade market, the guy who people thought would be traded, that the Marlins would cash in. They did try and sign him to an contract extension, but that didn't get too far. So he was obviously going to get traded at some point before the deadline.
Maybe he wants to sign an extension with us.
Well, I think it was something like 3 year, 30 million he turned down, so I doubt we can go beyond that. We should be able to.
We could offer him $1 million a year for 30 years.
Well, yeah, that's what we did to get Rosenthal. Yeah, so I know the Yankees were linked with him, the Giants, the Astros. He fits a need really well, you've got to say that. I did have some stats which I have disappeared somehow.
So where's he going in at, Matt? Is he going in at DH or is he taking a field position?
He's outfield. So, so he can play all 3 outfield positions. He's a Gold Glover. Primarily, you think of him as a right fielder, but I know Bob Melvin, I think he only found out about it right when it was announced, pretty much. So he was saying he hasn't really thought it through yet, but it's possible he may go to centre field and Ramon to right. So we'll see. Okay. And I'll bring up on the screen now for our wonderful viewers a little graphic of Starling Marte. His 2021 season so far. Only 7 home runs, although he did have an injury, so he missed some games. So we know he's got 20 homer power. 22 stolen bases. He's batting .306, batting average of .407 on base. So on base is key. We were talking about that in the podcast, actually. We were talking about wanting to get someone in the lineup ahead of Oli, and that's precisely what this guy will do. So Canna is currently top of our on-base charts with 379. So a .407 on base, that's a really good mark. And he's mainly been batting second for the Marlins, so you would expect, him to go Canna, Marte, Olsen, and as French Ace has just said, 306 already our best batter. Yeah, that's true. I mean, his batting line is better than anyone we've got, so there is absolutely no question right here in the here and now. He has improved our batting lineup, no question.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So is this all in?
Well, that's the question. I wonder what people think out there in live stream world. You could say it is. I mean, Luzardo obviously has had his struggles. He's had a lot of injury problems and he's had his struggles this season. So I still believe in him. I know you do. I mean, I think the Marlins have got a really good pitcher there. They've got some really good young pitchers already, so it could work out perfectly for them and also for him. Maybe a change of scenery will do him some good. But the issue, of course, and the thing we always have with the A's is that we couldn't take on any salary. So we have traded Jesus for Marte for a couple of months, and whatever it was, let me have a quick look. I think it was about $4 million. I think
basically to cover his salary.
Yeah, so he's owed $4.5 million over the rest of the season. So the Marlins have chipped in that $4.5 million, and in return, we've been prepared to give up a quality prospect. So that's the position the A's are in. We could get a player for a lesser prospect, but we have to take on the money. And whilst we should be able to do that, under John Fisher currently, we're not prepared to do it. Well, he's not prepared to have the budget to allow us to do it. So it's tough. But what do? Do you not make a move?
No, I think look, we discussed this on the pod and we discuss it all the time. But the front office are working within a budget. That budget's set for the front office. It's not on them that I mean, okay, people will argue that Billy Beane has contributed to it, but it's not on them that we're pretending to be a small market team. No, it's entirely on Fisher. So I think we leave that at the door of ownership, and I think hey, if nothing else, it'll make it interesting in the second half of the season, won't it?
It certainly does. Yeah, that was what Melissa Lockhart said in her tweet. That I can't remember where I've got it now. I did retweet it. Let me find it quickly. Melissa Lockhart, who writes about prospects with Giants and A's on The Athletic. I will say this, kudos to the A's front office for not letting cheap ownership make this team totally uninteresting. Who knows what tomorrow brings, but you have to admire the efforts to win from a front office handcuffed by a ridiculous budget, which I think sums it up perfectly, pretty much.
Well, I was channeling Melissa Lockhart there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, what can you do? It does, in terms of the lineup, it does look really good. You have to say that. So David Forst and Bob Melvin had a quick press conference about half hour ago. So a few comments from there. David Forst said Starling Marte will be in uniform in Anaheim tomorrow. So that's good. He'll be straight with the team. Bob Melvin said he hasn't decided where A's will play Marte defensively. Did not rule out him playing centre, as I noted, and maybe Laureano moving to right. Forst said A's targets before the deadline were a set-up reliever and starting position player. So we're very happy with the two additions we've made. We will continue to have conversations over the next 48 hours. So I think what we can take from that is that
there'll be another trade.
They'll keep on top of it, and I suspect, as we mentioned in the pod, potentially another reliever. I know that's what you've said you would like to see.
Yeah, I think a closer would be magic.
Yeah,
a closer. Because of the ridiculous budget, which is Fisher's fault. You're always not wanting to give up too much.
Yeah.
And let's be clear, whatever we get, we're going to give something up for. But a closer would just be a dream.
Yeah.
For the run-in.
Definitely. We've had a comment from Frances, our good friend, talking about Darren Bush, our hitting instructor, hitting coach. If Marte's average downgrades, does it prove Darren Bush is the imposter? Lol. Darren Bush is someone who gets quite a lot of grief on Twitter, and it's always one of those things where we don't have a clue what he's doing as a hitting coach, do we? It's like people say, oh, he just tells the hitters just to hit home runs all the time. It's like, does he? I suspect he doesn't. It's like, let's just sack the hitting coach and everything will be all right. It feels a bit like that. But
hey, I remember, if you'll indulge a Liverpool metaphor or simile, Liverpool fans used to get right on top of Dan Achterberg, who's our goalkeeping coach, because we had Mignolet and Karius who were dreadful, and people said, oh, you sign good keepers, and he turns them into dreadful keepers. But Alisson's not half making him look good right now.
Yeah, and
I think there's something in the talent pool as well as just the coaching.
Yeah, the other two aren't exactly pulling up trees elsewhere to determine that it was Liverpool at fault there, weren't they?
No.
No, so I mean, it's a valid question to ask, I guess, but it's the same as anything, same in all sports. Coaches, managers, they can only do so much with the tools they've been given, and we know how good Bob Melvin has been over the years in terms of just doing such a great job in bringing the team together. And it is one thing I will say about this trade. I know that we've seen it in the past, Cespedes being the obvious one, where people feel, and the team feels let down by seeing a good player go. Well, we've needed a jolt, we've needed a spark, especially in the batting lineup. Maybe this is part of it. You know, it does show to guys like Chappie, Ramon, Oli, look, we're having a go here. We're bringing in a genuine, real quality batter to our lineup. Maybe, you know, maybe that brings something to the spirit and helps kick us out of the funk the batting lineup is currently in.
Yeah, it's one of those where a captain can raise the players around him.
Yeah.
You know, we saw it. We saw the opposite impact when Cespedes left.
Yeah.
So hopefully it has the positive version of the Cespedes impact with Marte raising the game of those around him.
Absolutely.
And just giving them confidence. It's not even that people are necessarily, you know, I'm not suggesting anyone's being lazy or anything. It's just that if you're up ahead of him, you're thinking, well, if I get on base, that's all I've got to do. He's going to get me round.
Yeah.
And everyone's confidence level goes up a notch.
I mean, you might see that because we know that when Canna's been fitting in the team, sometimes they've put Kemp in the 9 spot. So you essentially have like 2 lead-off hitters, one after the other. And we know Canna works lots of walks, lots of hit by pitches, sees lots of pitches, but can still smack one over the fence. So, you know, you then have Marte behind him, then Oli. I mean, that's getting good. And we know Elvis has generally been hitting second a lot recently, and we've mentioned this previously. Take April out of Elvis's stat line, and he's actually been exactly what you'd expect, a 260 average hitter. So put him maybe in 8, Kemp 9, roll it back
Elvis
round, Canna,
quite a
Marte.
lot of walks as well, hasn't he? His OBP's pretty decent.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you could even look at surprise player of the year, Tony Kemp, Kana, Elvis, Ollie, Marte, as you know, and Sean Murphy's not shy of a big boy home
hit
run.
home run yesterday, didn't he, in the loss? So yeah, I mean, I know it's wish casting a little bit, but we know what Chappie can do. We know what Ramon can do when he gets on a hot stretch. Get those 2 guys firing, Marte coming in, you know, and people get so worked up. I know we laugh at Jay, how Jay likes to talk about it sometimes, but people get worked up on a small little run of games. We've stood a good team, and just as we've been in a funk over the past week or so, we can easily crack off another long winning streak.
And baseball's streaky, and we've got the talent.
Yeah.
We really have. You know, Piscotty's got it in him. Morland's got it in him. We've got these players in and around the team that if they go on a tear, they'll be starting in the wild card game or in the playoff games. Hopefully, we avoid the wild card game, but have playoff games.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's been the one thing when people have looked at what the A's might do, whether they should do anything. Currently 5 odd games behind the Astros. We've got the Mariners on our back. It's a 1-game wild card. Is it worth risking it? Well, we've got 2 years left with Oli and Chappie after this year. You look at the starting rotation, how good that's been, and we know how important good starting pitching can be in playoffs. We haven't really had that so much in recent years, but when you've got those guys firing as well, improving the bullpen, you know, I do think we can go on a run. There's still a lot of baseball to be played this season.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the other good thing, or well, potentially good thing, as I keep saying, we've got a lot of games against our rivals, which makes it easy. If you do well in those games, it makes it easier. Obviously, if we don't, it makes it harder. Yeah.
But it's in our own hands that way, isn't it? You know.
Plus, we've not talked about it, but it looks as if the Mariners are blowing their team up, so that helps.
Yeah, it's strange. We don't yet really know the ins and outs of it. Obviously, players were very unhappy that they traded away. Different gravy, Kendall Graveman, not least trading him to the Astros. It seems a curious thing, but they've said there's going to be more moves, so maybe that clears some payroll space. I don't know, but Yeah, we'll see. I mean, there does seem to be quite a few teams who are thinking of trading players.
I like the Mariners trading with the Astros because one of them's going to look shite out of the trade.
Well, hopefully we don't look shy out of this trade. That's the thing, because I do think, like I say, I do have confidence in Jesus. But it's always the way with this. You can't, especially as a team with a low payroll, you can't get something good without giving up something good. So.
Yeah, look, our front office, I know some of our friends in Oakland criticise them a lot. Our front office are very good at spinning gold out of shite or out of hay or whatever you want to call it, whatever the right metaphor is. If you consider where we were at the start of the season, we brought in Cole Irvin, who has kept Jesus out of the team. They're not dissimilar ages. I can't remember what we traded for Cole, but it wasn't.
No, it wasn't much.
I think it
was like cash or something. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So we're not necessarily worse off if you start from the start of the season to now. We've still got the same pitching corps, but we've managed to turn Magic Beans into Marte for the end of the season running.
Yeah.
They do this a lot. I think this is the benefit of I'm not going to use the M word.
It's obligatory, a legal obligation to use the M word in every A's broadcast.
Yeah. But I'm excited. Look, I'm much more happy with this than us blowing up the team and starting the rebuild. So
we might as well have a
go.
go.
While it lasts.
Have a go, right? Have a go. And this guy definitely will improve us. He's a genuinely really good player. We know we're not going to re-sign him, let's be honest, but let's enjoy him for a couple of months he's here. And, like I say, hopefully it's not just him who will bring what he can bring to a team. It's the lift it gives to everyone. I'm sure the players will be very happy about it. Talking about those players, let's look ahead to today's game, because the A's are in day game action at 10 past the hour, so in just over 20 minutes time. Game 2 of this 2-game series against the Padres. Now, game 1 didn't go our way, as you'll know. Lost it 7-4 despite taking a 3-0 lead, so it was a bit of a shame. Gave up the 2-run home run to Tatis in the bottom of the third. Then it was the 5-run fifth that really killed us in that game. As Dom said just after I said last night on the pod, that Kaprielian doesn't give up lots of runs in a spate like that, so that was entirely my fault. I apologise to Cap and everyone else out there. But today, really good pitching matchup. Sean Manaea on the mound for us, and Blake Snell on the mound for the Padres. So 2 quality left-handers. Sean Manaea was incredible last time out. 13 strikeouts, a baker's dozen against the Angels. He's just the type of guy who will come in today and dominate.
It's exactly what we expect from him. It's not surprising in any way, shape or form.
He is a surprise player of the season, Sean Manaea.
He's not, no.
He is.
Tony Kemp is surprise player of the year.
Well, Kemp is not in the lineup today, I should point out. In fact, I will put the lineup, if I can get the mouse pointer on the right screen, I will put the lineup up for our wonderful viewers. So, leading off, Mark Canha, Dom's favourite. If anyone can. Canha. So, Canha leading off and playing left field. Batting in the 2 spot is Ramon Laureano in centre field.
Sorry, I'm doing the football thing.
Oh, right,
read them out, I'll cheer.
Batting third, playing first base, it's Matt Olson.
Hooray!
Good. Batting fourth. And playing second base, return of the Jet Lowry.
Hooray!
Batting fifth,
Jet.
He hits big boy home runs and is a catcher, Sean Murphy.
Hooray!
Batting sixth and playing third base, ain't nobody like him, it's Matt Chapman.
Like Matt Chapman.
Makes me happy,
makes me feel this way.
Batting, whatever we are at now, batting seventh, I think it is, Stephen Piscotty, the star man in right field.
Hooray!
He's probably not going to be in the team tomorrow, but never mind. Maybe he'll have a big game today. Maybe that will spur him on today.
Fingers crossed.
Batting eighth is the man we love, Elvis Andrus at shortstop.
Elvis. Yes.
And batting ninth, because it's National League rules, it is the wonderful man, Sean Manaea.
Oh, I hope he gets a hit. I love
Kaprielian got two, didn't he? He definitely got one hit yesterday.
I think this is not a romantic view in any way, shape, or form.
Go on.
The National League should just have a designated hitter, but it is fun for AL teams when we go into the National League. It's a bit like keepers coming up for corners.
Yeah.
If we see a hit, it'll be amazing.
It will be. Possibly unlikely. I can't remember if Mania has much of a reputation as a hitter, but we'll see. We'll definitely.
Well, I saw. I was investigating Chafin. Whatever he's called, the sheriff.
The sheriff.
I was investigating the sheriff stats. He has a hit.
He does have a hit.
He bats 200, which is better than some of our hitters in the past. I think that's better than Country Breakfast.
Well, yeah. Let's not mention the butler in this live stream. We're in a nice positive mood with Starling Marte coming in and with a game to come. So yeah, don't ruin things by mentioning that clown or whatever it was we called him.
One day we're going to bump into him and it's going to be trouble.
I know. Can someone bump into it? Was it Danny Valencia who smacked him in the face? Am I getting that wrong? It was something.
I wasn't threatening the guy. I thought we'd be in trouble, not the other way around.
All I'm saying is he doesn't seem to have quite a strong jaw, so we may be in with a chance. If he gets a bit tasty, if it gets tasty, we'll definitely be able to outrun him, won't we? So that's one thing.
And I think that will be our approach.
Get out of the way quick. So the good thing about the Padres game today is that it is on TV in the UK. It's on BT Sport 1, so that's good news. Coverage starting at 9.
Fill your boots.
And it's also the free game of the day on MLB.com. So even if you don't have a subscription, you don't have BT Sport, you can log on to MLB.com. You just need a free account, and you'll be able to watch it live. So I'm
pretty
excited.
Exciting, isn't it? It's a
Padres
chance to see the Padres, right? Yeah. They're like I'm trying to think of a similar football analogy. I don't know. They're like Barcelona in 08 through to 12. They're that exciting team that you sort of admire a bit, but you don't play very often. I like them.
Yeah, it's difficult not to like them, other than the fact that they're playing against us and trying to beat us. But
we should mention a number of our friends are there.
Yes, I think plenty of people out there.
I think
we were hoping to be out there, weren't we?
We were. This was our trip. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I think a number of the Bleacher crew have gone to San Diego. A few of them come back. I think the 68s are doing a day at Stockton over the weekend.
Nice.
But a few are also carrying on to LA for the Angels game.
Cool. So yeah, that's a big series coming up. 4-game series in LA, in Anaheim at least, let's call it Anaheim, against the Angels. Both the Saturday and the Sunday game are day games. I think they're both 9:10 about that time, so we can watch those ones nicely here in the UK. And a really big series. It's one of those things, people are so down in the dumps at the minute, overreacting a bit, I think. But get a win today, 3 out of 4, if not a 4-game sweep against the Angels, and everything's completely different.
Exactly, Matt. It's a fast-changing game.
It is.
Let's win tonight, though. Let's do it one game at a time. Focus on killing and eating what's in front of us. What's the pitching matchup? We've got Mania. Who've they got?
Mania Blake Snell. Good pitcher.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Yeah. Although I think he's not been quite on form of late.
A's 3-2.
A's 3-2. I am going to go for 5-3 A's. 5-3 A's.
Yes!
Full house. Okay. So 15 minutes to, I was about to say kick off, close enough, first pitch. So we will call an end to our wonderful live stream here. We thought we would do a quick live stream because this trumped our podcast in terms of the big signings. So we thought we'd do a little add-on. French A's has gone 5-4 A's. Love the confidence, pal. Love it. Sank Catra, yes. Good game, exactly. Yeah, good game. We're really looking forward to this. It should be a good one, shouldn't it? I should be able to keep awake for it. Yeah. for the whole thing. We'll see. Depends how much. Depends if we score a load of runs early and it takes about 4 hours to get through it. But any which way, we are all excited at the news that Starling Marte has joined the team. Shame to lose Jesus, but these things, like I said, you have to give up someone good to get something good. We've definitely got someone good in. We've got a really exciting game to watch today. And this A's team, do not give up on this A's team, because this A's team is not going to give up on us, I am sure. Thanks for joining me, Dom. Thank you everyone for joining in on the chat, and everyone watching live and on repeat on our YouTube channel and on Twitter. Don't forget you can listen to our podcast on all the usual podcasts and sites, Oakland A's UK, and we are Oakland AUK across all of the social media platforms. So enjoy today's game, and hopefully we'll get a good win for the A's. See you later.
Cheers.